ئەڤی خان لە سوێدەوە لەگەڵمانی لە چەند مانگی ڕابردوودا زۆر لە وڵاتانی ئەوروپا زۆر لە کوردەکانی ئەوروپا کە چوونەتەوە تورکیا لەوێ دەستگیر کراون یا هەندێک جار بردراونەتە بەردەم دادگا. ئەمە تەنیا لە ئەڵمانیا نیە، لە زۆر وڵاتی دیکە ئەوروپاش ئەمە ڕووی داوە. زۆر کەس دەڵێن ئەمە پاڵنەری سیاسی لە پشتە و لە ڕەنگە ئەوە کەسانەی کە لەوێ گیراون هیچ تاوانێکیشان نەکردبێت. پێم گرنگە بزانم ڕای ئێوە وەکو سۆسیال دموکراتەکان کە بلۆکێکی زۆر گەورن لە ناو پەرلەمانی یەکێتی ئەوروپادا چیە لەسەر ئەم مەسەلە؟
I think, of course, we need to look at case to case, but in general, what is important is that we know, unfortunately, too well that Erdogan and the AKP-led government is misusing their power and turning the Turkish government into an authoritarian regime since many years back, and putting people in prison and because of arbitrary reasons. So misuse of power is very evident that the Turkish government led by Erdogan.
بەڵێ ئەوەی کە ئێستا ڕوودەدا چ کاریگەرێکی دەبێت لەسەر پەیوەندەکانی نێوان یەکێتی ئەوروپا و تورکیا؟
I think right now there is quite a lot that is affecting the EU-Turkey relationship. First of all, it is, of course, how Turkey is attacking people outside even Turkey. In addition to that, how the state of democracy, state of rule of law, state of human rights within Turkey, but also, for example, how Turkey is acting when using vulnerable groups as migrants against Europe. In addition to that, the actions of Turkey with the decades-long occupation of northern Cyprus, the drillings in the Cyprus economic zone, and now also the drillings outside Crete, and not at least also mention the invasion in the Rojava region. All of this is, of course, affecting the relations. And in the European Parliament, we have taken a very hard stand against the Turkish actions or Erdogan-led actions, and have told the Commission and the EU Council that enough is enough. And we need to start acting because Erdogan, unfortunately, right now, do not understand any other language.
باشە ئەمە پێتان وایە بەڵام دەبێت دانوستاندنتان هەبوو بێت لەگەڵ بەرپرسانی تورکیا. ئێوە ئەندامی کۆمیتەی پەیوەندەکانی ئەوروپا و تورکیان لایەنی تورکی چی دەڵێن؟ ئەوان قسەیان چێ لەسەر و گرتن و بڵێنە و دادگایکردانە؟
As many other authoritarian regimes, of course, it is the Erdogan and the Turkish government refuse to acknowledge what they are doing and also justifying their actions, which is of course not acceptable at all. Here, once again, we in the European Union, we really need to show that Erdogan and Turkey cannot act however they want without consequences, especially when it comes to the relations between Turkey and the European Union. We cannot continue as if it is normal situation why the Turkish government is continuing to attack rule of law, fundamental rights and human rights within Turkey, but also abroad, beyond the Turkish border. So I would say that, the European Parliament have been very clear on that enough is enough.
بەڵێ من دیسان پرسیارەکەم ئەوەیە کە ئەوان چیان گوتووە چونکە مادامەوە ئەندامی ئەو کۆمیتەیە بن کۆمیتە پەیوەندەکان بێگومان دەبێت لەگەڵ بەرپرسانی تورکی گفتوگۆتان هەبوو بێ. ئەوان دەڵێن چی هۆکاریە و دەستگیرکردنانە چییە؟
To be frank, when it comes to the delegation which I'm sitting in with the relations to Turkey, the Turkish side has until now not been so keen on continuing their relations. So the reactions from the Turkish side has been rather to not prolong the hand of dialogue, but rather opposite, which is of course unacceptable in all its ways. So, but the EU Commission, of course, is continuing the discussion. The High Representative and Vice President Josep Borrell, he went to Turkey, I think it was 2 weeks ago, and had a dialogue with the Minister of Foreign Affairs, not at least in Turkey, about the situation and about the unacceptable way that Turkey is acting. So dialogue is, of course, continuing in different ways. even though when it comes to the delegation in the European Parliament with the relation of Turkey, unfortunately, the discussions between the delegation and the Turkish representatives have been on ice for some time.
بەڵێ باسی ئۆپەراسیۆنی تورکیت کرد بۆ بەتایبەتی بۆ باشووری کوردستان و بۆ ڕۆژاوای کوردستان دەمەوێت ڕای ئێوە لەسەر ئەو ئۆپەراسیۆنانە بزانم چونکە لایەنی تورکی دەڵێ ئەمە بۆ داکۆکی لە خۆکردنە وەکو بە ئینگلیزی پێی دەڵێنەوە سێلف دەفێنسە.
I, of course, do not think that it has anything to do with any kind of self-defense. The oppression of the Kurdish people, the oppression of people of other minorities, as Christian minorities and so on, has been going on for a long time and has been even escalating the last years. So it shows very clearly that it has nothing to do with self-defense. It has to do with Erdogan's need to create his Ottoman Empire, Erdogan's fear that the Kurdish population maybe would manage to actually get their fundamental rights, which all the people all around the world has the right to democracy, right to rule of law, right to human rights, right to speak our own language, right for every people to be who they are without any oppression. And this is what Erdogan is very much afraid of. And taking the Rojava region, for example, I'm very much convinced that Erdogan is scared that the Kurdish autonomy would be even stronger in the region, in the Rojava region, which leads to it being put even bigger pressure on Turkey to ensure the Kurdish population the rights that also the Kurdish population in Bakur has the right to.
هەستناکە یەکێک لەو ڕخنانەی کە زۆر دەگیرێ ئەوەیە کە دەڵێن ئەوروپا تاوەکو ئێستا ڕوویاکی ڕوونی نییە بۆ ڕۆژاوای کوردستان و تەنانەت بۆ سووریاش. تۆ کۆکی لەگەڵم کە ئێوە لە پەرلەمانی ئەوروپاش کەس بە ڕوونی نازانێت چیتان دەوێت بۆ ئایندەی سووریا و ڕۆژاوای کوردستان؟
I think one of Europe's biggest challenges is that it is or European Union is a very good project in so many ways and have ensured peace and democracy within the European borders and also to some extent also beyond the borders. But we are 27 countries with 27 different foreign policies, because when it comes to the foreign policies, it's on a national matter. What we do in the European Union is the coordinating the responses. In some cases we have managed, in some other cases unfortunately we haven't managed. So this is an issue that the European Union would need to work better on, to be coordinated more on a European level, because only when European Union have one voice together, Europe can also be that force also globally that I do believe that Europe should be, especially looking at the current situation globally. And when it comes to the Kurdish issue and the Middle East region, I think that the European Union has quite a lot more to do, and we need to show even more than we have done until now that the development, especially on how Turkey and Erdogan is acting, is not acceptable. So I do not believe that, unfortunately, we have done enough. I think that we can do even more.
بەڕێز ئینجیر یەکێک لەو شتانێک دوور لە مەسەلەی ڕۆژهەڵاتی نێوەڕاست بەڵام پەیوەنددار بە کوردەوە لە کەیسی ئۆلۆف پالمەدا سەرۆکوەزیرانی پێشووتری سوید سەلما کە کورد هیچ ڕۆڵێکی نەبووە لە تیرۆرکردنی تۆ وەک سۆسیال دموکراتێک وەکو سەرکردەیەکی دیاری سۆسیال دموکراتەکان هەست ناکەی میدیای سویدی و ڕەنگە تەنانەت بە ڕەسمیش سوید قەرزداریەوە بێ کە داوای لێبوردنێک لە کورد بکە کە ئەو هەموو ساڵانە وەکو چاوی تۆمەتبار لێیان دەڕواندرا لە کورد دەڕواندرا؟
Of course, I mean the Kurdish path, or how to translate it into English, was one of the way that the police were looking into, and then there was other cases also. So the Kurdish or the PKK case that they say was not the only one, but it was one of the things that they were looking into. And of course, it showed now that it is not the PKK. We still don't know 100% who murdered our former Prime Minister Olof Palme, who is was a great internationalist, but he was also a friend of the Kurds. And was also conducting a policy for the Kurdish people. But yes, you are totally right that the Kurdish people were accused totally wrongly, and it is also not, of course, acceptable that it was done. But I'm at the same time happy that we today know that that was not the case, and the Kurds were not responsible for it. And most probably that this new person, the man that was presented a couple of weeks ago, might be the person who was responsible for the killing of our prime minister in the 1980s.